Assalamu alaikum, I'm Saadan Khan and welcome to another episode of All of Your Business with Mehtab Haider Saab. Sir, global oil prices have crossed $100 a barrel, while transporters are threatening a nationwide strike over high diesel prices. Sir, could these developments put fresh pressure on inflation and economic activity?
Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Thank you very much for having me. Actually, this escalated prices in international market will have to be translated and implemented in Pakistan because there is no other choice available to the government because we are under the IMF program. And if the economy is not under the scrutiny of the IMF, even then, Pakistan cannot afford to dole out any kind of subsidy on sustained basis. So if the prices are touching $100 per barrel or crossing this psychological mark, then Pakistan will have to pass on this burden to the consumers. And it will, of course, result into hiking of inflationary pressures. And when inflation will go up, then policy rate will have to be revised upward. So it is a threat to Pakistan's economy, and it will also it might also result into choking of economic activities because when the policy rate will go up, it will result into shrinking of economy because we have seen in the past when there was tightening of monetary policies and when we have seen that it tight to its peak of 22%, it had resulted into the negative effects on Pakistan's economic growth. So let's pray and hope that this escalated crisis must recede in days to come. Otherwise, there will be multiple problems and challenges arising out of this crisis for Pakistan.
Right, sir. Sir, Karachi's industries consumed a record amount of electricity in fiscal year 26. So, what does this tell us about the health of Pakistan's manufacturing sector?
It shows that the manufacturing sector is rebounding. And we have seen that in the past, the large scale manufacturing had shrunk, but now it has been rebounded and it is on the path of growth trajectory. We have seen that the large scale manufacturing had achieved a modest growth in the last financial year. And in this financial year, 26-27, Pakistan expects that agriculture, industrial, and services sector will simultaneously grow up in the right direction, and Pakistan's growth will surpass the invested target of 4%. Although the IMF has projected, as well as the Standard and Poor also followed the same path, and they have invested that Pakistan's GDP growth will be hovering around 3.5%. But there is a idle or unutilized capacity available in different sectors of economy, for instance, in the large scale manufacturing. So if this war ends in the Gulf and Pakistan turns into a normal situation, because it is a threat to Pakistan's economy because we are import dependent on account of overall POL as well as other energy instruments. So it will have devastating effect. If this war ends, then Pakistan will be able to achieve higher growth during the current financial year. But it really depends on the geopolitical situation prevailed in this part of the world, especially related to this Gulf crisis. Because after end of this Gulf crisis, it will have two positive impact on Pakistan. First of all, it will reduce our import bill and it will help us to create more foreign exchange reserves to create buffer. but it will also result into receding the overall inflationary pressures. And with these two developments, then we will be able to gear up all the efforts towards achieving higher growth trajectory.
Right, sir. So next is Master Cherry says it is absorbing the impact of revised sales tax to support customers. So is this genuinely about providing relief, or it is just a strategy to increase auto sales?
In the budget 26-27, we have seen that the overall FED and sales tax have gone up for the upper chassis vehicles. So it seems that it is part of their strategy to absorb this burden and provide customers vehicles at cheaper prices. So I think it is part of their strategy. And there is another aspect. As we have seen that under the national tariff policy, the tariff structure for imported cars uh, have reduced, and the age limit of 5 years has also been gone away. So now imported cars will give them a tough competition. So it is part of their strategy. It seems so that it is part of their strategy to absorb the burden and compete with the imported cars.
Right, sir. Sir, Pakistan is projecting an image of economic stability abroad. What's the one reform that would do the most to convince investors this recovery is sustainable?
We have seen that now, if any foreign investor is investing in Pakistan, he or she doesn't have any restrictions to repay its dividends or profits. Why? Because Pakistan is now in comfortable position of uh, for having higher foreign exchange reserves. We have seen that by June 30th, Pakistan's foreign exchange reserves held by State Bank of Pakistan had touched $18 billion mark. And in July, we have seen that they have receded or decreased little bit because of refinancing of the Chinese loan. But uh, it will come into the national kitty again, because under refinancing from the China, first of all, Pakistan will have to pay back, and then they return it back to the country. So overall, Pakistan reserves are hovering around 17 to 18 billion dollars. So this aspect shows that if any investor is going to invest in Pakistan, he will not face any restrictions on account of repatriation of its profits and dividends. This one aspect will restore the overall confidence. The second aspect is that in the last budget, we have seen that overall tax burden have decreased. So these two aspects are critical for attracting foreign direct investment and to promote economic activities in Pakistan. So keeping in view these two factors, it shows that although Pakistan is under the IMF program, but we have built up the foreign exchange reserves and tax burden also reduced. So it shows that Pakistan's economy is now on the path of sustained growth, and this sustainability will prevail or persist in months and years ahead. So that will help to restore the foreign investors' confidence.
Right, sir. Sir, India wants to reduce its dependence on Chinese solar imports, but manufacturers say the policy is disrupting production instead. Has the government moved faster than the industry was prepared for?
I think their overall production have shrunk, because earlier they were generating 3 gigawatts, but now it has reduced to 1 gigawatts. So the Indian industry was not prepared. So it will result into halting of production of the solar panels in India. Industry was not ready, and they had invested $4 billion in this sector. Now it will result into halting of economic activities, and it will create disruptions for the overall trajectory, under which they have invested that by 2030 they will increase their reliance on the solar panels. But after this disruption, I think their overall trajectory towards renewable energy uh, will, of course, be disrupted.